Hey kiddos, so looks like, yeah, I tested positive for COVID this morning, so I get to stay home. I feel mostly fine, so I might get some of the grading done today. That said, all of your stuff stays basically the same, so let's go ahead and go through it. I have the instructions for your reading time, along with a short lecture. Today is the first day of the Mexico content. You have reading 5, reading 7, reading 6 is a set of videos on Thursday, and then your notebook check is on Friday. The lecture is spread across them, so, use the notes.Haiti and Mexico file to collect notes as you go through, and then add the good evidence to your evidence collector. All right, neat. So, stay away, kitty cat. All right. Like I said, it'll go fast. Today is the second day in your second collection week, meaning that you have 4 days left to gather all of the evidence that you need. Yikes, right? So as long as you're keeping up, you should be doing just fine. All right. So step 1, let's all reread the prompt. Do you have evidence for all the categories in it? Is all of the evidence really specifically about the causes of the revolution? The causes. If you're not doing the honors prompt, the only thing you'll be talking about is the factors leading up to the revolutions. Today you'll be starting to talk about the Mexican Revolution, so make sure you read over the evidence and analysis you have written to make sure you actually have enough to answer that prompt. Going in, which topics do you think right now would be good to compare? All right. You can go ahead and pause me, take a quick look at your notes. I've got a 5-minute lecture on Mexico, and pause. Cool, I'm back. All right. So, a very quick overview. Below me is a picture of Father Hidalgo. He is the major figure in this revolution and a bit of a folk hero, if you're not already familiar with Mexican history. So, what went down is that an armed conflict between the people of Mexico and the people of Spain was the revolution. It began on September the 16th, 1810. And it was led by Mexican-born Spaniards, mixed-race people, and Mexican natives. It started off as this very idealistic peasants' rebellion against colonial masters, and later moves over to a war for independence. See, it ended as an unlikely alliance between Mexican ex-royalists, royalists being people who are really into monarchy, and Mexican guerrilla insurgents. So, which one was it? A revolution? A war for independence? Well, click. So, we're studying independence. The revolution in Mexico was actually 100 years later, in 1910, when a number of groups, led by revolutionaries, including some people you've heard of, Francisco Madero, Pascual Orozco, Pancho Villa, and Emilio Zapata, ended dictatorship in Mexico and established a constitutional republic. I almost said colonial republic, and that's kind of the opposite of what I meant. No, constitutional republic. It was like a whole revolution. All right, and those events are not the same. I wouldn't want you to get it twisted in your brain, like in possibly, you're on your first days in Mexican history ever. All right, so let's talk about the social groups before the revolution. Here we go. Right, spent a lot of time on this in Haiti, so let's talk about Mexico. New Spain, which is what Mexico was called before it was called Mexico, was made up of these 4 ethnic groups. Just whites, which some of whom were born in New Spain, right? Just like 17.8% of the white people, and Peninsulares, people who were born in Spain, which is 0.2% of the white people total. They come out to just under 20. Native people in Spain, 42%, the vast majority. Right? The second largest group are the Mestizo people, who are mixed, native and white, 28%. And last, black people who total in at about 12%. So, those words again. Peninsulares. People born on the peninsula, on the Iberian Peninsula, actually Spain. Cool. The Creole people, which are just people who are of the exact same descent and families or not, but born in New Spain. Mestizos, which is just mixture. Native white, the natives, and the Africans. Fantastic. All right, did you get those? Now that we've got the players in order, let's talk about the problems people had. One, the problems people had is that Spain had complete control of the economy. This will sound really familiar from when we were talking about France. Glad I'm not there to cough all these germs all over you guys. Alright, so basically, like, it was mercantilism. Like, the mother country has complete control over the economy, and this pisses off New Spain. They had to sell basically everything to Spain. Unlike some of the other colonial powers, Spain actually did have, like, some permissions for Mexico to trade with the Philippines, which is another colony. But yeah, but basically, mostly, they had to sell their stuff to Spain. And Spain would buy that stuff for less money and then sell it to other countries, right, with this huge upsell. They could sell some things to other colonies like the Philippines, like I just mentioned. They had to buy also all of their stuff from Spain, no matter how much cheaper or faster it would be to get that from other closer countries. No deal, Spain only. And this was often at a higher price since there's no competition. Like, this is a complete monopoly. Alright, other problems. Taxes. Ooh boy, Spain sure did like wars and imperialism in this time period, and that shit is expensive. So, Spain kept increasing the taxes, and they had to pay for these wars that they were fighting in Europe, and there are a lot. It's not specifically relevant, like which wars with who, but yeah, they were having a whole century. Alright, other problems. Control of the colony. One of the things about Spain is that only peninsulares, people who had been born on the Iberian Peninsula in Spain, could hold the highest jobs in government. This meant that people who had been in New Spain, like the 17.8% of like the white population, and all of the mestizo people, and all of the Creoles, all the Creoles, all the mestizo people, all the natives, all the black people, no deal. The only people who could actually hold high positions in government came from a section of 0.2% of the total population, right? This one specific type of white people. By the way, crazy shit went down. At one point, the Pope ruled, yeah, because apparently they get Pope on this, that if somebody was born, like, on one side of an imaginary line in the Atlantic, they had actually been born in Spain, which led to crazy things happening, like 7 months pregnant women would, like, board ships to Spain and be like, yay, and, like, try to get there before they had their babies, but if they had their babies at sea, but they were, like, over a line, that baby would be a Peninsulare, and if they were not, that baby would be a Creole. It was like, it was a whole nonsense. It's just like, further codifications, hierarchies, and just, man. Hierarchy sure is some bullshit, isn't it? Anyway, so that's your short lesson where we just start on Spain. Right? Oh, one last thing, because it's on the notes and I didn't actually say it yet. Creoles used to have a lot more power when New Spain was a newer colony, but it was being slowly eroded and taken away from them, and that, pissed them the fuck off. Alright, so here are your steps for today. Step 1, add lines to the evidence collection from what you just got from the Mexico lecture. Play me again if you need to. Next, Reading 5, Mexican Independence Movement. Add 3 complete lines to the evidence tracker for each one. Complete your daily reflections. Complete anything unfinished from this week. Complete anything unfinished from last week. Make sure you have the evidence you need to complete your essay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through where all of these documents are again. So if you already know, you can pause, you can turn me off. If you're not quite sure where to find the Mexico documents, follow me. Alright, and a Skype. Cool beans. So I pop right on over to, like, the Schoology page. Here's this week's folder. In it is where you have everything that you'll turn in, etc. And a short quiz on the slave revolution that gave birth to Haiti, which is the document you read yesterday. Inside of the Essay 2 documents file, you'll see that there is Haiti documents and Mexico documents. All of the Haiti documents, BAMF, including the supplemental ones for honors, are in here. Also, if you end up with gaps in your research, that's what you'll be using, right? And then here is where I keep the Mexico grade level documents, right? Cool. The Mexican Independence Movement. Oh, these are, of course, annoyingly labeled dumbly. I'm so sorry. It is Mexico 1. right now, but I will relabel it as quickly as I can. Basically, Independence Movement in Mexico is reading 5, Strayer Latin America reading 6, etc., etc., etc. Cool. And with that, I'm going to go ahead, shut up, and leave you guys to your work. I'm available via email during school hours today, but I don't know how rapidly I'll be able to turn those around. Anyway, good luck, kiddos, and I will hopefully see you soon.